Today, I want to share a deeply personal experience about discovering my fiance's infidelity just weeks before our planned wedding, which ultimately led to the end of our engagement. I'm a 35-year-old man, and my former fiance is 33. We were engaged for 3 years and had set our wedding date for this June. My ex-fiance and I had known each other for over 2 years, having attended the same college. However, we weren't particularly close back then. We were more like acquaintances who occasionally crossed paths. After college, while I was already working on Wall Street, our paths crossed again at a friend's party, and we eventually started dating. After 2 years together, I felt it was time to make our relationship official, so I proposed to her. At that point, I believed I was financially stable enough to provide for my family and fulfill my responsibilities. Initially, everything seemed to be going well. We were living together and planning our wedding. However, I began to notice a change in her behavior. She stopped behaving like her usual self and started making excuses whenever I tried to get close to her. Our physical intimacy dwindled, with her consistently citing wedding stress or headaches whenever I tried to initiate romantic moments. Despite finding this strange, I accepted her explanations about the stress of wedding preparations. Seeking advice, I confided in my friends during one of our gatherings. Many of them were married, and they shared stories about their wives acting differently before their weddings. They reassured me that it was common for brides to feel anxious during this time, which gave me some reassurance, and I decided to let it go. I wanted to help with the wedding preparations, but I was preoccupied with a crucial work project that required my full attention for a promotion. I expressed my concerns to her, apologizing for not being able to assist more. She assured me it was fine and mentioned that my best friend, who is 35 years old, was helping her with the wedding arrangements. My best friend and I had been close since our school days, and he had also become friends with my fiancée. In fact, he was going to be my best man at the wedding. I appreciated that they got along so well, as I didn't want any tension between them. During this time, my best friend was going through a tough breakup. His long-term girlfriend had ended their relationship over a phone call while she was on vacation with someone else. It was a painful experience for him. I thought that being alone in the house he had shared with his ex-girlfriend would be difficult for him, so I welcomed his assistance with the wedding preparations. However, little did I know that his recent heartbreak would lead to an unthinkable betrayal that would shatter my world. I decided to confront her about her late nights and secretive behavior. I expressed my concerns, explaining that her actions were causing me to doubt her honesty and commitment to our relationship. She reassured me, insisting that she was simply caught up in the excitement and stress of wedding planning. Wanting to believe her, I pushed aside my doubts and chose to trust her words. However, as the days passed, my unease only grew. I couldn't shake the feeling that something was off. Despite her reassurances, her behavior continued to raise red flags. She became increasingly defensive whenever I asked about her whereabouts, and her excuses became more elaborate and far-fetched. Then came the pivotal moment that shattered the illusion of our perfect relationship. One evening, as we were relaxing at home, her phone buzzed incessantly with notifications. Curiosity getting the better of me, I reached for her phone, intending to check the messages. However, to my surprise, her phone refused to recognize my face and rejected my attempts to unlock it with her passcode. Caught off guard by this sudden change in her behavior, I confronted her about the altered passcode. She hesitated, stumbling over her words as she struggled to come up with an explanation. Eventually, she claimed that she had changed the passcode to protect the surprise of her wedding dress, a feeble excuse that failed to convince me. In that moment, the truth hit me like a ton of bricks. I realized that I had been living in denial, ignoring the signs of her betrayal right in front of me. The late nights, the vague excuses, the secretive behavior, it all made sense now. My fiancée had been lying to me, deceiving me with every word and action. As the reality of her infidelity sank in, I felt a mixture of anger, betrayal, and heartbreak wash over me. How could she betray my trust and throw away everything we had built together? The woman I had planned to spend the rest of my life with had betrayed me in the worst possible way, and there was no turning back from this devastating revelation. While I was engrossed in my work, my fiancé's best friend called me in a state of distress. She explained that she couldn't reach my fiancé, and they were running late for a dress-fitting appointment. Calmly, I assured her that my fiancé must be at home. However, when I casually asked if they had scheduled the appointment for the previous day, she seemed taken aback. finding the question unusual. She quickly mentioned that the store had been closed yesterday and abruptly ended the call, mentioning that my fiancé had responded to her message. The abruptness of the call left me with a lingering unease, solidifying my suspicions that my fiancé might be concealing something from me. However, I chose not to confront her directly, dreading another fabricated excuse that would only add to my confusion and frustration. It was during this time that an unexpected call came in from my best friend, who had been actively involved in assisting my fiancé with wedding preparations. Surprised by his call, we engaged in some small talk before he sensed a hint of my distress and inquired if everything was all right. Torn, I debated whether to disclose my concerns to him, ultimately deciding to confide in him about the discrepancy in my fiancé's explanation. To my surprise, he brushed off my worries, assuring me that my fiancé had indeed attended a dress fitting for the rehearsal gown the previous day. He explained that the appointment scheduled for today was for the wedding dress. Though his reassurance brought a momentary sense of relief, a nagging doubt still lingered in my mind. However, his detailed explanation, coupled with his active involvement in the wedding preparations, helped alleviate some of my skepticism. With a sigh of relief, I tried to push aside my doubts and refocus on my work, attributing my fiancé's peculiar behavior to the inevitable stress of wedding planning. Yet, as the days passed, my fiancé's behavior continued to raise red flags. Despite her repeated assurances that everything was under control, her demeanor seemed increasingly distant and aloof. It was as if she was hiding something beneath a facade of false cheerfulness. One evening, as I informed her about a client meeting that would keep me out late for dinner, her response struck me as oddly indifferent. The following day, when the client meeting was rescheduled, and I returned home later than expected, my fiancé was conspicuously absent. In that moment, as I searched the empty house for any sign of her presence, the weight of suspicion and doubt descended upon me like a heavy shroud. It was a stark reminder that beneath the surface of our seemingly idyllic relationship, something sinister lurked, threatening to shatter the very foundation of trust upon which our love was built. While I was at work, my fiancé's best friend called me, unable to reach my fiancé for a dress-fitting appointment they were running late for. Assuring her that my fiancé must be at home, I inquired about the appointment's timing, finding her response peculiar. She then abruptly ended the call, claiming my fiancé had responded to her message. Certain my fiancé was concealing something, likely lying about her appointment, I resolved to uncover the truth. Avoiding direct confrontation, I received an unexpected call from my best friend, involved in our wedding preparations. Engaging in small talk, he sensed my distress, prompting me to share my fiancé's inconsistency. He assured me it was nothing to worry about, explaining the timing discrepancy regarding her dress fittings. Though skeptical, his confidence eased my doubts, attributing her behavior to wedding stress. Returning home late one evening, due to a rescheduled client meeting, I found my fiancée absent. Despite her claim of waiting for me, I discovered her lie as I searched the house. Upon her return, laden with groceries, she fabricated a story about attending cooking classes. Expressing my expectation of honesty in our relationship, I felt a growing sense of suspicion. Contemplating her deception, I resolved to uncover the truth before our impending marriage, fearing a post-wedding discovery of infidelity. Refraining from confiding in my best friend, I initiated my own investigation, monitoring her activities closely. With her phone passcode changed, I resorted to tailing her, feeling conflicted about invading her privacy, but driven by the need for clarity. Parking my car discreetly, I observed her errands, scrutinizing her interactions for signs of deceit. As she visited various establishments, my anxiety mounted, each stop intensifying my suspicion. Eventually, she arrived at a secluded coffee shop, where I anxiously watched from a distance, anticipating a potentially devastating revelation. Minutes turned to hours as I waited, my nerves fraying with uncertainty, torn between the fear of confirming my suspicions and the hope of dispelling them. Amidst the backdrop of her return home, a tinge of embarrassment colored my thoughts as I reflected on the doubts that had momentarily clouded my judgment. Observing her seamlessly slip back into her daily routine, any lingering suspicions felt like unwelcome intruders in an otherwise peaceful moment. Yet the memory of her recent peculiarities persisted, serving as a silent reminder of the need for vigilance. While outward signs of deception remained elusive, I knew that uncovering the truth demanded patience and unwavering resolve. Thus, I resolved to extend my surveillance, clinging to the hope that clarity would eventually emerge from the murky depths of uncertainty. As the next day unfolded, mirroring the routine of its predecessors, my fiancé's actions adhered closely to the familiar script. Despite the absence of any overt deviations, a lingering sense of doubt lingered like an unwelcome specter, casting a shadow over my thoughts. While a fleeting suspicion whispered of her possible awareness of my scrutiny, I quickly dismissed it as a product of my own unease. After all, there was no evidence to support such conjecture, and I refused to succumb to baseless paranoia. Against the backdrop of lively Spanish melodies, an unexpected call from my best friend shattered the tranquility of the moment. Amidst the cacophony of vibrant tunes, his voice struggled to be heard, drowned out by the pulsating rhythms echoing in the background. Before our conversation could delve into its intended subject, the demands of urgent work matters intervened, forcing an abrupt end to our exchange. With little to glean from my surveillance efforts thus far, I resigned myself to another day spent navigating the confines of my office. Yet, as the hours wore on, a call from the jeweler served as a jolting reminder of the looming wedding preparations. Prompted by the jeweler's inquiry, I reached out to my fiancée, seeking the essential details required for our impending nuptials. However, the unexpected presence of vibrant Spanish melodies in the backdrop of her call ignited a flicker of suspicion within me, casting a shadow over the otherwise routine conversation. Furthermore, her assertion of being in the company of her best friend, rather than mine, only served to deepen my growing unease. As I attempted to reconcile these disparate fragments of information, a distinct burst of laughter resonated in the background of my friend's call, its familiarity unsettling in its intensity. Despite his feeble attempts to deflect my probing questions, his abrupt termination of the conversation left me with an unsettling sense of disquiet. It was becoming increasingly apparent that there was more to this puzzle than initially met the eye, and I couldn't shake the gnawing sensation of betrayal slowly taking root within me. However, I wasn't ready to readily accept the unsettling truth that was beginning to take shape. Instead, I chose to maintain a silent vigil, withholding my suspicions until I had amassed concrete evidence to confront them. That evening, following my usual work routine, I deviated from the path that led me home, and instead made my way to my best friend's residence. As I pulled up outside his house, I couldn't help but notice the absence of his car. Glancing at the time, it was roughly 6 p.m. With a slight furrow of my brow, I proceeded to my own abode, a lingering sense of unease shadowing my every step. Upon arrival, I checked the time again, realizing with a pang of realization that the journey from my friend's house had taken me precisely 23 minutes, the exact duration my fiancée had claimed for her return from a cooking class on a previous occasion. In that moment, a seed of suspicion began to sprout within me, blossoming into a creeping certainty that both my fiancé and my best friend were concealing something from me. Inside my home, the eerie silence echoed my tumultuous thoughts. Freshening up in the solitude of my bedroom, I grappled with the swirling emotions threatening to engulf me. Despite the faint flicker of hope that dared to kindle within my heart, the ominous shadow of betrayal cast a long and foreboding pall over the impending union that I had once envisioned with such unwavering certainty. The following day dawned with the weight of uncertainty bearing down upon my shoulders. Determined to unearth the truth, I embarked on a covert mission to shadow my fiancé's movements. Yet, despite my vigilant surveillance, her activities remained disappointingly mundane and devoid of any incriminating evidence. As the hours ticked by, frustration began to gnaw at the edges of my resolve, threatening to erode my determination. It wasn't until a chance encounter at the local thrift store that a glimmer of possibility reignited the dwindling flame of suspicion within me. Spotting my best friend entering the establishment, I felt a surge of apprehension mingled with a flicker of anticipation. Could this be the missing piece of the puzzle, or merely another false lead leading to yet another dead end? The next morning, over a solitary breakfast, a sudden recollection jolted me from my reverie. Retrieving a forgotten file from the bedroom, I stumbled upon an unexpected sight, an unmistakable mark adorning my fiancé's shoulder blades. With a sinking heart, I realized that it was a hickey and irrefutable sign of infidelity. Despite her feeble attempts to pass it off as a mere insect bite, I couldn't ignore the gnawing suspicion that gnawed at my gut, urging me to delve deeper into the web of deceit that threatened to ensnare me. Retreating to the sanctuary of my car, I found myself consumed by a single-minded determination to uncover the truth. Reviewing the footage from the previous day, I searched for any shred of evidence that might corroborate my suspicions. Yet, despite my exhaustive efforts, the footage offered no definitive proof of wrongdoing, leaving me with nothing but a sinking sense of frustration and despair. Undeterred by the lack of concrete evidence, I resolved to continue my clandestine surveillance, doggedly shadowing my fiancé's every move. It was only when I spotted her heading towards my best friend's house that a glimmer of hope began to dawn within me. Yet, even as I watched from a distance, my heart heavy with trepidation, I couldn't shake the feeling of impending doom that loomed over me like a dark cloud on the horizon. Armed with the damning evidence of their betrayal, I hesitated on the threshold of their clandestine sanctuary, the weight of uncertainty pressing down upon me like a suffocating shroud. With a trembling hand, I reached for the spare key that my friend had entrusted to me long ago, a silent testament to the bond of trust that once existed between us. As I stepped inside, the deafening silence of their shared intimacy enveloped me like a suffocating embrace, drowning out the tumult of emotions that threatened to consume me whole, easily as one might overlook a minor transgression. Despite her tearful pleas and heartfelt apologies, I found myself unable to reconcile her betrayal with the future we had once envisioned together. The trust that had once formed the bedrock of our relationship lay shattered at my feet, irreparably damaged by the weight of her deception. As she stood before me, her tear-streaked face a haunting reflection of the pain she had inflicted upon me, I felt a surge of resentment coursing through my veins. How could she have betrayed my trust so callously, and with my closest confidant no less? The image of her entwined with my best friend seared itself into my mind, a painful reminder of the irreparable breach that had torn through the fabric of our once unbreakable bond. With a heavy heart and a mind clouded by anguish, I knew that forgiveness was not something I could grant lightly. The wound she had inflicted upon my heart ran deep, leaving scars that would forever mar the landscape of our shared history. Despite her desperate pleas for redemption, I found myself unable to offer her the absolution she so desperately sought. With a heavy sigh, I uttered the words that would sever the ties that bound us together, casting aside the promise of a future that now lay in ruins. "It's over," I declared, my voice a mere whisper against the deafening silence that enveloped us. And with those final words, I turned my back on the shattered remnants of a love that had once burned bright, leaving behind a void that could never be filled. As I watched her retreating figure, a solitary figure bathed in the harsh light of reality, I knew that the road ahead would be fraught with pain and uncertainty. Yet, amidst the wreckage of our shattered dreams, I found a glimmer of hope, a beacon of light illuminating the path to a future untainted by betrayal and deceit. With a heavy heart and a resolve forged in the fires of adversity, I embraced the uncertain future that lay before me, determined to rise from the ashes of my shattered dreams and forge a new destiny, one defined not by the betrayals of the past, but by the strength and resilience of the human spirit. And though the scars of her betrayal would linger long after she had departed from my life, I knew that I would emerge from the darkness stronger, wiser, and more resilient than ever before. Amidst the grandeur of the elegant venue, where the soft glow of golden chandeliers illuminated the faces of our guests, I stood poised at the center of attention, a silent storm brewing beneath my composed exterior. The air buzzed with anticipation, the faint rustle of whispers betraying the nervous energy that hung heavy in the room. With a steady gaze, I surveyed the faces of those gathered before me, each expression a mosaic of curiosity, intrigue, and perhaps a hint of apprehension. They awaited my words with bated breath, unaware of the tumultuous storm that raged within me, threatening to engulf me in its tempestuous fury. In that fleeting moment, as I stood on the precipice of revelation, I felt a surge of conflicting emotions wash over me: anger, betrayal, heartache, all vying for dominance within the confines of my troubled soul. Yet amidst the chaos of my inner turmoil, one thing remained steadfast: my unwavering resolve to expose the truth, no matter the cost. As I cleared my throat, the room fell silent, a hushed anticipation enveloping the space like a thick fog. With measured steps, I approached the grand podium, the polished wood gleaming under the soft glow of the chandeliers above. The weight of my words hung heavy in the air, each syllable laden with the gravity of the truth I was about to unveil. Taking a deep breath, I began to speak, my voice steady and unwavering, despite the storm raging within me. I recounted the story of our love, painting a vivid portrait of a relationship once filled with hope, promise, and unwavering devotion. Yet beneath the surface of our seemingly perfect union lurked a shadowy truth, a truth that threatened to shatter the fragile facade of our idyllic romance. With each passing moment, the tension in the room grew palpable, a silent acknowledgement of the impending revelation that loomed on the horizon. I spared no detail as I recounted the events that had led me to this moment, the subtle signs of betrayal, the gut-wrenching discovery of infidelity, and the devastating realization that those closest to me had deceived me in the cruelest of ways. As my words hung heavy in the air, I felt the weight of their truth bearing down upon me, threatening to crush me beneath its unforgiving weight. Yet I remained steadfast, my resolve unyielding in the face of adversity. For I knew that the only way to move forward was to confront the darkness that had infiltrated our lives, to expose it to the harsh light of truth, and to emerge from the shadows stronger and more resilient than before. And so, with every word that escaped my lips, I felt a sense of liberation wash over me, a liberation born from the courage to confront the demons that had haunted me, to reclaim control of my own destiny, and to forge a path forward guided by honesty, integrity, and the unwavering belief that justice would prevail in the end. As the echoes of my words faded into the silence that enveloped the room, I felt a sense of catharsis wash over me, a release from the burden of secrets long kept, a freedom found in the embrace of truth. And though the road ahead remained uncertain, I knew that I had taken the first step toward healing, a step toward reclaiming my dignity, my self-respect, and my sense of self in the aftermath of betrayal. It has been a transformative journey since the events unfolded, a period marked by introspection, growth, and the gradual restoration of faith in myself and others. 6 months have passed since my last update, and the passage of time has brought with it a deeper understanding of resilience and the capacity for personal renewal. Therapy sessions have served as a sanctuary for self-reflection, providing a safe space to confront the raw emotions stemming from betrayal and loss. Through introspection, I've unraveled the tangled threads of my experiences, gaining clarity on the dynamics of relationships and the intricate layers of human connection. In the midst of adversity, I've discovered an inner strength I never knew existed, an unwavering resolve to rise above the pain and emerge stronger. Each session is a step forward, a journey of self-discovery that illuminates the path to healing and self-empowerment. Beyond the therapist's office, I've sought solace in the embrace of nature, finding solace in the tranquil beauty of the outdoors. Surrounded by towering trees and expansive skies, I've found peace amidst the chaos, a gentle reminder of the resilience inherent in the natural world. Literature has also been a source of solace and inspiration, offering wisdom and perspective in times of uncertainty. Through the pages of novels and poetry, I've found refuge in the words of those who have traversed similar paths, their stories serving as beacons of hope in the darkness. Amidst the quiet moments of reflection and solitude, I find myself occasionally graced with pockets of joy and connection that serve as gentle reminders of the richness of life. Whether it's sharing a hearty laugh with a trusted friend or engaging in a heartfelt conversation with a loved one, these moments of genuine human connection offer solace and reassurance in the midst of life's trials and tribulations. In the tapestry of my experiences, the presence of my ex-fiance and former best friend lingers as a poignant reminder of the intricate complexities of human relationships and the delicate nature of trust. While the path to forgiveness may be arduous and fraught with challenges, I have made peace with the past, relinquishing the heavy burdens of resentment and anger that once weighed heavily upon my heart. Their absence has allowed me to cultivate a newfound sense of independence and self-reliance, empowering me to reclaim my identity and forge ahead with unwavering determination and purpose. Each passing day serves as a testament to the resilience of the human spirit, as I navigate the ebbs and flows of life with courage and conviction. In the grand tapestry of existence, I am profoundly grateful for the steadfast support of those who have stood by me through the storms of life, offering unwavering kindness and compassion that have served as guiding beacons in moments of darkness and uncertainty. As I gaze towards the horizon of the future, I do so with a heart brimming with hope and optimism, fully aware that every obstacle presents an opportunity for growth and every setback serves as a stepping stone towards greater resilience. With an unwavering resolve and a steadfast commitment to personal growth, I embrace the journey ahead, trusting in the transformative power of resilience to carry me through whatever challenges may lie in wait. Since calling off my wedding, I've been privy to some interesting developments in the lives of my ex-fiance and former best friend. As it turns out, they decided to embark on a romantic relationship shortly after the cancellation of our nuptials. Their union seemed blissful at first, but as whispers of their scandalous affair spread, they encountered numerous challenges. Eventually, my ex-best friend strayed once again, this time with a colleague from his workplace. It wasn't long before my ex-fiance discovered his infidelity and promptly ended their relationship. Learning of their tumultuous love affair didn't evoke much emotion from me. In fact, I found it somewhat amusing, considering the tumultuous nature of their relationship. As time passed, I've come to realize that I can't bear the burden of their mistakes forever. Letting go of the pain and resentment has been a gradual process, one that has been greatly facilitated by therapy. 2 years have elapsed since I first shared my story here, and I'm pleased to report that I've made significant strides in rebuilding my life. Despite the initial challenges, I've experienced personal and professional growth. A well-deserved promotion at work, the unwavering support of genuine friends, and the invaluable assistance of my family have all contributed to my journey toward healing and self-discovery. Although I initially attempted to cling to the familiarity of my old home, the memories it held proved too poignant. With the encouragement of loved ones, I made the decision to sell the house and start anew. Settling into my new abode marked the beginning of a fresh chapter, one free from the ghosts of the past. Furthermore, I found companionship in a new relationship with a remarkable woman from my workplace. She's been incredibly understanding of my past and has shown remarkable patience as we navigate the complexities of a budding romance. While we're taking things slow, there's a palpable sense of potential for a deeper connection as we continue to grow together. In closing, I'm grateful for the unwavering support of those who have stood by me throughout this tumultuous journey. Their kindness and compassion have served as a beacon of light in my darkest hours, guiding me toward a brighter future. As I look ahead, I do so with optimism and gratitude, knowing that each day brings new opportunities for growth, healing, and love.